must students always be the ones to bear the pains, the brunt of, the mistakes we make in academic work? Often you would hear, yeah, the students are not reading, they are not doing that. Yeah, fine. Like I've always said, I have my own personal issues with students, but I want to call a spade a spade. This morning, I had hurriedly made a live video calling on Jamb on the need to cancel their rescheduled date of, a student retaking this Jamb exam. Those who they said were affected, right? There have been reactions to the admittance by Jamb to the fact that there was, a glitch, as it's been called. Yeah, there was a failure on the part of Jamb in this 2025 Jamb. I had said this in some of my videos. Okay, why maybe teaching a student, and first of all, the rescheduling of the exam from 25th to 24th of April was actually an error. Yes, a serious mistake made by a professional exam body as that. As long as the country is concerned, Jamb, is considered a professional exam body. In this particular class, we are going to deal with energy quantization and photoelectric effect in physics. Once again, you are welcome. So we do not have enough time to waste. For as we know, the exam is fast approaching. Jamb examination and of course WAEC. Sadly, as it could be, in the society where we find ourselves, was it on Saturday? I don't know. I got a pop-up message from the guys. Yeah, the guys, because I don't understand anymore. A high-profile professional examination as Jamb cannot stick to a particular time when they decide to kick off the examination, 25th and now 24th. I think they did something a kind of similar last set. I don't know. But that is so bad. And sorry to say, it's barbaric. It's uncivilized because, I don't know, an individual may be like, oh, it's just 24 hours difference. The truth is that as students, 24 hours means a lot. Yes, as students, 24 hours means a lot. And I just pray and hope that many who are scheduled to start this exam on Thursday, 24th, as they've adjusted, they can do their best. Because I had known that some people would have scheduled their own mind, conditioned that even on Thursday, they are going to do some personal reviews. But all the same, like I said, this is a society we find ourselves where anybody can just wake up and do anything, not really considering what is going to be the effect to the other people. I would have thought that Jamb should have considered very well the impact this might have on, even if it is one student. Yes, the impact it may have. I was just reading through the news and the reason they were given is irrelevant and insensitive. Yes, it's irrelevant and insensitive. I just hope that this could get to any of the Jamb official and all the professor in charge. This sudden adjustment is insensitive. Speaking, I'm not taking Jamb, but as an educator, we understand what it really means when exam timetable is just being adjusted unnecessarily. Yeah, it's unnecessary because no cogent reason was given. And even if the reason is being given, at least any adjustment should bear in mind or should be targeted towards giving students the best. But this one now, no, it's giving students the worst. Yeah, but all the same, I wish you guys all the best. I got your back in the best I can do for you as always. And today we'll be looking at this topic. Once again, you are welcome as we kick off. Like I said, we don't have enough time. Energy quantization, photo, and then followed up with the result that was released. Yeah, there have been doubts with performance of students in Jamb exam and other things. But to be honest, this particular one, I have not been so certain that something went wrong with the system. Okay? I've not been so certain. Like, as an educator, although I know that this does not really bother on this particular class that is in progress now, but I want to use this opportunity to just say something quickly. I'll be releasing video lessons on it actually to address what I consider as a problem, a challenge as an educator here in the country, Nigeria. And so our dear parents out there whose children start for Jamb, I want to say this from here that you want to take it easy with your words, your children, okay? In the first place, yes, I understand, that, of course, many of the students, they have their own blame, okay? They have their own blame with respect to maybe low performance with regard to their Jamb examination. But please, let us not be too quick. Let us not be too quick. This is my first video within the period of time that the Jamb result has been released. And I'm actually observing and watching. One thing is in this country called Nigeria, we know they hear. That's just one thing, okay? And we are too quick to push something off. We are too quick. Once in a while, in some of my video lessons, both in my live class, I talk about even Jamb themselves because they have their own problem. Yes, I am not saying that there is any particular fault with the system or other things, but even the way the exam is being conducted and other things, just imagine their own behavior. Exam to start from 25th of April and then suddenly shifted to 24th. It was unprofessional. I talked about that, but what's the point? I think it is high time we begin to understand where the problem is coming from. It's not always every time shifting it to students. Students have the problem. But I'd like to mention this as I'll be highlighting on them gradually, okay, within this period. Number one, economic factor, the psychological effect it can have on students. As a Nigeria, permit me, I speak pidgin English now. This is not a person with chop well and the right exam, but it is not an excuse. Point number two, parents. Parent factor, very important. We always neglect that. Now, I want to say something. A student is preparing for Jamb exam, and then a month to exam, you see some persons coming to maybe apply to prepare for a professional exam of such magnitude that covers 3 years scheme of work. So parents, you have your own problem as your fault. Please, let's understand this. Then number three, you talk about Jamb themselves. Yeah, I don't have any data or whatever to fault the system, but the truth is we're all aware that you cannot say that the system is 100% okay, that something may not happen to student result. But let us not assume that yes, the system is 100% okay. Then I think a question has to be raised with respect to what the problem really is. Okay, you can have more than 1.5 million or something taking an exam, and like 1.5 million, like I said, scoring below the threshold of what you can say average. Yeah, Jamb themselves have to be checked. Very important. The systems have to be checked. So I want to put everything under consideration. I know some parents would be, see their children have done the worst in life. Just calm down and let all start doing what is right. Yes. Educators also have problems, even on this online platform. Some of us have these problems. When the Jamb was about to begin, I saw some people posting Jamb late question, sure Jamb question. And these days, many of these younger ones don't want to work hard. Many of our students today, they are naive. So some of them are just looking for where question will leak. Why would we do such a thing? There should be a crackdown on such maybe thumbnails, was in leaked questions and they're not good. Because you draw students' attention from what they should be preparing for, thinking that there is a particular question being expected. It's bad. So even educators and schools also, we are all part of the problem. And I think before the next Jamb, we want to start thinking what can be done. Back to our business of this class, integrated factor. Now, the exam is considered to have been flawed with, technical irregularities, and students are scheduled, rescheduled to retake Jamb, those from the affected area. My question now is, why the rush? Why the rush? Why 48 hours to taking the exam? What is the guarantee that the system is now set for deployment? And even if the system is set for deployment, please, why is it that after admitting the failure from the part of Jamb, there is now this kind of pressure, yes, enforcing students to retake the exam within 48 hours, going further to, I think, from 16th to 20th or so, the 19th, Friday to Monday. Why the pressure? One would have thought that would think of giving students, a little time for them to recover a bit from the trauma. Like I said, 1 week is not bad. 2 weeks is not bad. So that appropriate arrangement can be made. Even the issue of, this 370-something thousand, just below 400,000 candidates that were affected. What if someone wakes up tomorrow and say, I didn't receive, a message to retake the exam, and I'm pretty sure that the score I got was not what, or maybe what I took in the exam was not the score I was expecting. These are factors that I feel should be considered. There is no need for this excessive rush. No need, to be honest. And most importantly, like I said, these students have been traumatized. They have. It is out there of someone that couldn't take it, a child from Lagos, a 19-year-old candidate that sat for the exam. Apology, well, at the end of everything, one would just have to take it as it is, at least for Jamb even coming out to admit in the first place that there was, a technical breakdown. But you can see the extent to which it went. And once again, one could have thought that maybe Jamb could have done all these back-end checks before publishing the results. So please, I am calling on, the officials, appealing, Jamb officials and all concerned individuals, even the stakeholders that had meeting with Jamb in the review of these results. Gosh, were you there and after the review and acceptance that the exam is going to be rescheduled, and we accepted it's going to be within that short time frame? Like I said, we should not be too quick to disregard the trauma that these young ones have been through since the day the results was, published, but the statistics. So I think for complete apology and other things, right, linked to this, a little time should be given to this student. My honest and humble suggestion, it's not bad. At least 1 week. So at least many of the candidates will also, who are going to recite for this exam, would be aware. Some persons might even miss the exam for not knowing that there is something like that have been approved by Jamb. Yes. Taking the rescheduled exam from 16th, being Friday. Some persons who are meant to take it might miss it. Let the much, I use the word, stress on students be considered and reduced. It's too much. Even we as educators, I'm speaking honestly, as an educator, I can tell you, the stress is too much. I'm still going to talk about certain policies regarding Jamb, even with respect to, your scheme of work. Yeah, something I have issues with because there is no basic defined scheme as it is now. The stress on students is too much. It's too much. I am not speaking in favor of students generally. If anyone follows my live classes, you would see sometimes I talk to students. I coach, I encourage. Okay? So it's not as if I'm not aware of the fact that at this present time, many students find it difficult to study and do the needful. Yeah, some students prepare for Jamb, just 3 months to Jamb. I discourage that this is a professional exam that covers 3 years scheme of work. So one should give good time to read, at least 1 year to the exam. You should start rigorous preparation. But it's not sufficient to push out the blame to the student. And now it is obvious now that some of these students affected, it wasn't their fault. So what next? Would we now cause more harm to what is already on ground? Please, let enough time be given. 1 week is not too bad. The rescheduled date to start from 16 should be cancelled. I think that's the proper thing that should be done for at least for us to know that the concerns of people and students, okay, candidates who sat and were affected by this, that their concerns are being considered. They won't talk, yes. They won't talk. Many might just keep silent, rush and go take information. I've received information from students saying, since that day, because of the trauma, the problems, like the unbelievable results, some of them have not opened their books since. And of course, as expected, although I speak against it, I tell them, you shouldn't just give up just because of one thing or the other. But the truth is, these are people that have just gone through, certain stress in preparing for the Jamb. They need to rest. So the brain had gone a bit dormant over this period, plus the kind of messed up result released for some students, for some candidates. And now the pressure of them resitting for this exam within 48 hours. Please, to the chairman of Jamb, Professor Ishak, this is an honest appeal. And to, Jamb officials, look into this. And I hope that this video go viral to as many as concerned within the next 12 hours. Because it's tomorrow, we are looking at, the rescheduling date to kick off. But I think that date should be cancelled. It should. It's really unfair if the exam kicks off on the 16th as rescheduled. It will really, really be unfair. That's complete negligence to candidates, feelings and what they've been through.